Greetings everyone, how are we doing? I'm doing horrible because I find myself actually wanting to play Destiny. But then I see all the seasonal challenges I have to do and I realize, why am I here? I feel like a while back, Bungie said they were doing away with the bounty system because they began to feel a lot like chores. And that's what these seasonal challenges have turned into, is bounties on crack, basically. So if you, for some reason, don't know what these seasonal challenges are, each season, they roll out these challenges weekly, all the way from week 1 to week 10. This season, there are there are 75 challenges exactly. Now, most of these you'll get done just by simply playing the game. You don't have to go out of your way. But when you get towards the end, like I have 65 of 75, you have to start focusing your efforts because there are some that you wouldn't even think to do. For example, there is one that requires you to do bounties, patrols, public events, and lost sectors on Nessus. Now, Nessus is a planet you probably don't go on unless you're going to see Xur, and that's usually it. Or you're doing a GM or a Nightfall or whatever, but it's a planet that's hasn't got content in a very long time, so most people aren't doing that. It's like a random chance that you'll have any progress towards that, so you have to go out of your way to do that, which is just fantastic. I love to see it. Oh, and there also are a lot of Crucible ones. Now, not too many, and I'm thankful for that because there used to be a lot, and some of them would require you to do the playlists that rotate, i.e. Scorched, Mayhem, Showdown, all of those rotating playlists. So, if you were unlucky enough and say you didn't have time to do it before the weekly rotator swapped out the playlist, you were screwed. You'd have to wait another 2 weeks for that playlist to come back around, and who knows, if you're unlucky enough, it could be done. That could have been the last time that playlist was in rotation for the season, and you're cooked. I will say Bungie is a little generous with these challenges because they do give you the ability to choose a few not to do. Like I said, I have 10 left. I have about 14 or like 13 that I can complete, so there are 3 challenges that I can be like, okay, yeah, these are too much, I'm not doing them. That's one bright side of this. But then, every time I look at a bright side of these challenges, right, I always find a negative. And it just keeps blowing my mind how much this just drains you, right? I play the game a lot. I would say, I put in a lot of hours. We all put in, however much time we want to or can or whatever. Casual or not, whatever you identify yourself as. When you play this game a lot, it gets annoying when you get these challenges that aren't retroactive. Because, and this is kind of like me hurting myself because I've already burned out on the game. But you've played it so much that you just don't want to play it anymore. And you want to go play other games. And it's healthy to do that. But you want to get these chores done to get this large pile of bright dust, which is the reward for completing these 75 challenges, and it's a pretty nice reward, I should say. That's another positive. However, we're back to the however, there is a challenge in the final week of the season called Freebooter 2, as I'm showing you here. You have to open either 15 expedition chests or 15 Master Catch Crash chests, which means you have to do about 15 of one of the activities, or do, some of each, whatever. You have to do that 15 times. This challenge wasn't retroactive, which I get it kind of defeats the purpose. Most people would have this done as soon as it unlocks. But most of these challenges have a feature like that, where if you've done an activity or completed something, it'll just it'll just give you the completion as soon as the challenge becomes available. But some of them don't, which is confusing to me. I don't know if Bungie's addressed this and I just missed it, But it really confuses me and it irritates me, especially because I've done a lot more than 15 expeditions at this point and opened more than 15 chests, and you just find yourself irritated because 15 more is exactly what you don't want to do. And I know some people might say, well, Dylan, if you are so annoyed with these challenges, just don't do them. You're probably right. Maybe I should just put the game away. But I feel like Destiny is this constant struggle of completing something or not completing something. Whether if it's a title, a seasonal challenge, a bounty, whatever. And there's this urge within me to complete it because I'm so close, and you know, there's really no reason not to. Except for all these reasons I'm stating right now. But the main reason I wanted to make this video was just to bring attention to these things, right? And it's kind of like Bungie shooting themselves in the foot, because you want these challenges to give players a reason to come back, but instead it's just giving them a reason to not come back, because it's the same thing as what I talked about in the Festival of the Lost video, which I highly recommend you go watch that. Talk about the Festival of the Lost, how displeased I was with it as an activity, and how Bungie can obviously do better. But Festival of the Lost, I talked about how it's not an event really. It just forces you to go play other activities that have existed in the game forever, and then play this one little small activity that is still an activity that's in the game. The Lost Sectors are in the game. They just give you pumpkin-head people and call it a day, right? Give you candy, give you a couple extra guns, which, you know, the guns were actually pretty cool this season, so I'll give them, you know, it's cool. But even then, you're still just playing the same thing over and over again, and it gets very repetitive. And that's why, you know, I have taken a break. I've put Destiny down. I've been playing, you know, a lot less of this game, and, you know, as one should. And, you know, a symptom of the problem is Crucible is unbalanced and just not as fun as it used to be. Gambit can definitely have the same aspect, you know, it's definitely similar to Crucible in that it just hasn't had any tender love and care in a very long time. And, you know, the game overall is dull, so when these challenges ask you to go do those things, you're kind of like, ugh, not this again. And that is a symptom of the problem. And the challenges really just call you to that as well. So, you know, I made this video. Hopefully someone at Bungie sees it, you know, sparks a conversation in the community. I know a lot of people have already talked about this and how it really needs to, you know, it's little things. It's little things here and there. If more of these challenges were retroactive, if maybe they didn't take as long to complete, they weren't as grindy, then I think you definitely see a lot better of a reception, a much better reception of them throughout the community, and people wouldn't be as upset about, you know, having to do these challenges forever for such a small little thing it's bright dust. I mean, like, come on, you know, it's not like they're giving us 5 million silver, and, you know, at the end of the day, maybe I should just stop doing these challenges. But I mean, you have them done anyways, so they're not that bad, but they are annoying, just very annoying. Let me know what your guys' least favorite challenges this season, and if you could do me a favor, subscribe. A lot of people who have been watching my videos are not subscribed, and hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next one.